Okay, in this training video I'm going to give you an example of the kind of race that we wouldn't want to open a trade on. It's very important that you know which races to focus on and try and get your trades off, and which races to avoid. Now this particular race is the 340 at Fontwell, as you can see. At the moment the time's about 4:30, so we've got about 10 minutes left before the race starts. But even with 10 minutes left, you can see we've got some pretty large amounts in all the columns. Now the main problem you're going to have with an event like this is it's going to be very difficult to read the market as a beginner. The reason being that there's massive amounts of money coming in on both sides. You can see on these are the two favourites where most of the money's going to be centred on. It's going to be very difficult to read which way the price is going. For example, there you think the price is going to go out, and chances are it will, so you look to lay at 1.79. But then you see as soon as you do that, 3 grand comes in on the other side, and that'll probably force the price back in, which it has done. So it's very difficult to see which way the price is going to go, because of the massive amounts of money coming in and leaving the market incredibly quickly. And that all makes it very hard for us to know which way a price is going to go, so it's going to make it difficult for us to get off a profitable trade. That's the first problem you're going to have if you look to open a trade on a race that's got a lot of liquidity going for it. The second problem you're going to have is that the movements won't be that great because we've got massive amounts of money on both sides, and they're gradually bombarding the prices back and forth, but with no real trends. So you'll get a lot of 4-figure amounts and 3-figure amounts in races like this, but with no real direction, no clear direction as to which way the price is going to go. Which means that one, we're not going to be able to open a trade with minimal risk knowing which way the price is going to go. But two, it also means that we're not going to be able to make much when it does go a certain way. So you can imagine, for example here, if we decided that the price was going to go out, the price is going to go in, and we look to back it at 1.63. well, we've probably only got a small bank to start with, so say I would class a very good trade on a race like this as a 4-tick trade. So if you've got a bank even of say £100, you look to back it and then lay it, you're going to make £4 if that particular selection wins. Contrast that with your typical greyhound race, where imagine for a second that this is a greyhound race, and imagine that we think the price is going to go down on this one, which would be trap 2 in event. So imagine we think the price is going to go down. Well, a typical trade on a typical good trade on a trap race, on a greyhound race, would look something like this. So you see, for a quarter of the stake, we've got a similar kind of result, which is £5 if that particular selection wins. And you could look to do 2 or 3 trades like that in a greyhound race with no kind of fuss. I mean, that's only a relatively small difference. You see, 3.8 to 3.6. But to get the same kind of profit on a selection like this, you're looking to, one, have a much bigger bank, and two, know which way the price is going to go, which isn't always easy because of the massive amounts of money coming in and out on either side of the market. So basically this is an example of the kind of race that we wouldn't look to open a trade on, mainly because of the liquidity. Too much liquidity means that the only people who are going to be able to profit from it are very skilled traders who also have very large banks. So for example, someone somewhere at the moment will probably be trading on this looking to back it at 1.57 for say £1,000, and then look to lay it off at 1.55 for £1,000, which gives him a £20 profit if that selection wins. Problem is, we can't be completely sure which way the price is going because we haven't built our skill level up, and two, we don't have that kind of a bank to start with, which is why your best bet is to avoid these kinds of races. Just to run through the qualities that this race has which makes me want to avoid it, it all comes down to liquidity. As you can see, we've got very large amounts on both sides. So that's the first thing. One, very high liquidity. But two, what that leads on to is prices that don't move all that much. So you see here we've got swings of about 4 or 5 ticks from say 1.6, 1.7 to 1.5. So that's the first problem. The prices don't move by all that much. So you need a relatively large bank to get a good profit out of it. Two, the liquidity means that the prices are hard to read. The reason being that we've got so much money coming in on the back side and so much money coming in on the lay side that by the time you get your trade off, it's already, the situation's already changed. And three, the other quality which I'd be looking to avoid is we're very close to the off now, so it's about 5 minutes away from the off, and it's a British horse race, and we've got a very low priced favourite which is likely to attract a lot of the money. And what that'll do is it'll make it very difficult for you to get a profitable trade off with a small bank. So in summary, I'd look to avoid these kinds of races. What I'll do in the next training video is I should give you an example of the kind of race that I would look to trade on. But for now, just know that this is the kind of race that we're looking to avoid. So don't bother trading on it until you've built, one, your bank up, and two, you've built your skill level up, and then you can look to approach these kinds of trades and make a profit from them. For now though, if you're starting off with trading, I'd look to avoid these kinds of races.